Hello, hello. Welcome to Founders Live Center Stage. Luis, how are you doing, my man?
Doing great, Nick. Glad to be here. I am so excited for Founders Live Center Stage from Dallas. Oh, hey. Welcome everybody. Welcome to our clearly beta test of our new Center Stage format. We are visiting a different city around the world every week starting April 27th. And this is our test mode right now as we're checking out a few ways to make Center Stage work. With me is our host, founder, and CEO of Founders Live, Nick Hughes. How's it
Oh,
going, Nick? He's also
good.
doing a lot of production behind the scenes. We're making this thing work.
We are
You know,
making this thing work.
yeah.
I had to go flip a switch, and so I'm back. Hey, Nick Hughes here, Luis Antezana. We are Team Founders Live, and this is Founders Live Center Stage. We are coming from a different city pretty much every single week for the rest of 2022, and most likely many weeks and years on. Luis, just as we get going here, it's a beautiful day and it's a beautiful evening. We're actually in Seattle. We're coming from the clouds in
Yep.
Seattle. Later, we're going to pop in to the event that's happening in Dallas, Texas, Founders Live, Dallas, Texas. You're going to see amazing pitches from founders. You're going to see our Founders Live city leader, David Azil. He's going to do a great job. But Luis, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I always love when we do this show. This is our third one, I think. The tests are getting better each time, according to me. And and I'm very excited about our talent today. A little preview of we will be bringing along Miss Melissa Reeves from Story Fruition later on in the show. She's got a really interesting topic about pitching. Who would figure? We will also be going over a few things coming up for Founders Live in general. We'll get you a little update on what we're up to. But most importantly, we have the pregame, the preview of the presenters tonight, which companies they're representing, who their startups are, and what those startups are about. We're going to do a little bit of, getting the crowd warmed up, seeing what to expect. And we're also going to make some predictions over who we think are going to win after we look at all that information and just get a feel for who they are.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through a bit of an intro. Some of you might be watching this, not be as familiar with Founders Live. So we're going to go through a bit of information and then really excited to bring on our special guest of the night. So, Luis, I'm actually I'm gonna jump on screen here. I'm gonna pop you off for a few minutes, walk through some information, and you will be back. So, everyone, thank you for being here. This is our new show, Founders Live Center Stage. And before we get going, I want to share with you a thought, and I want to share with you some things that are happening that you might be interested in taking part in. So, if you want to be closer to the action of Founders Live, if you want a priority position within Founders Live, more knowledge, more training, more education as an entrepreneur, exposure to our global audience, all these benefits available, giving you insider access to Founders Live. We have a new experience within Founders Live called Founders Live Insider that's associated with our paid premium memberships that we are rolling out right now. We encourage you to get going on that. You'll see it launched a couple weeks ago now, and we are now opening the doors for our premium membership that gives you access to things such as this and opportunities around engaging more with our content and our community. So we wanted to share that with you coming out of the gate. This is Founders Live. We are the ultimate entrepreneurial experience, and you're seeing it right here with this show. We're excited to take a digital show, attach it to an actual live event that's happening somewhere in the world. Tonight, it's Dallas, Texas. So excited about that. But as this is the new Founders Live, we're absolutely about inspiration, education, and entertainment. We are building out and are growing our global community that spans from a digital ecosystem social network to our local events around the world. We're building out this homepage of the modern entrepreneur, giving you the tools for success, as you can see there, with our monthly events. You'll see later in this show at the top of the hour, next hour, you're going to go right into a room with the awesome, amazing pitches, 5 founders coming out of Dallas, Texas, and you're going to be able to see that and engage and vote on yourself. So the industry defining brand of entrepreneurship around the world. Yes, you heard that, around the world. This started in Seattle. I started everything in about 8 years ago. So it was the end of March of 2014. And we are tremendously expanding around the world. You'll see now we reach about 90 cities. That's 27, probably 28 countries now, based on some of the conversations we're having. We reach about maybe more than 100,000 people around the world. You'll see those dots. Those are our presence in cities that actually have activity and engagement in those cities. If you want to start a Founders Live event in your city, hey, expand.founderslive.com. We are definitely open to hearing what you have to say, as well as if you want to start this and take the leadership role and open your country or your city to Founders Live, let us know. Really excited. This is an important part of our experience. We always touch on our core values because they're absolutely the most important thing that underline this. What I just showed you is spreading around the world. The first one is respectful authenticity. And we really include everyone. And this actually underlies what we say is around entrepreneurial equality, which we believe everyone, no matter what they look like, how they speak, how they identify, where they live, what language they use, deserves and should enjoy an equal opportunity to be successful. That's absolutely number one. Number two, we gather around the campfire. So as you're going to hear from the great Melissa Reeves, you're going to hear about storytelling. You'll notice that it's infused in everything we do, especially the pitches from the founders that we highlight. And we encourage you to really find your campfire and entertain that community. Thirdly, open the door. So we ask and encourage you to do great things for people, not just nice things for people. Do great things for people without expecting a return. And the beauty is it comes back to you without you even expecting it. That's the way that the universe works. And we wrap this into Founders Live, make the introduction, do the thing for someone. That's the community that we want to build and be a part of. Fourthly, business equals fun. You'll notice we have fun here, and we believe that business should involve fun because that's a life that we want to be a part of. And the last one here, we've recently announced this. What we're saying is climate consciousness. And we commit to operating our business as a global business in a climate conscious manner. That means measuring as well as lessening our footprint where possible. And we encourage you to think about that as well. Be a part of the solution so we can continue to live. All right. Well, that is Founders Live. We appreciate you being here. We're excited, and we have a jam-packed show for you. I'm going to bring back Luis. Luis, did I miss anything? Nope, you're on mute, man. So make sure you're not muted on that one.
Yeah, I didn't want to grumble while you were doing your thing. We have that fifth core value this year. I'm glad it's in there now in the formal presentation. It's one of my, I'm really, really glad that we brought that in. So we ready to move on to the next thing?
We are ready. So, everyone, as we are bringing on our guest, I want to, segment this and really let you all know how important this next guest is. And actually, if you listen and pay attention, how important her message is to anyone that is crafting a pitch. Hey, you could be, hundreds of millions of dollars, $1 billion company. You still need to understand how to infuse storytelling into your experience when you're describing what you're working on. And so we have a special guest here tonight, a good friend, as well as an incredible, just a general team member from Founders Live on on not just Seattle, but even our ecosystem, who has
Yeah.
helped so many startups. We're going to bring on Melissa Reeves from Story Fruition. She's popping on here, and we're going to jump into a conversation around storytelling and pitching. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Hey.
Hi, guys. Nice to be here.
How are you
Yes, I
doing?
do I like to talk about storytelling, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And, what we're going to do is just have a great group conversation on this.
Mhm.
What I would like to do first is have you, just introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us about, we do have, we're going to bring up your website here in a little bit. So we have that and we'll share that out as well. But tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, hi, everyone. Yes, I'm Melissa Reeves, and I founded a company called Story Fruition. And in a nutshell, I'm an executive storytelling coach. So I work with founders just like you every single day. My entire day, I work joyously helping people like yourselves make your dreams come true. But what I do is, as Nick and Lisa have been saying, is that instead of a problem solution slide, we're going to flip that and use this more in a narrative format. Why, you ask? Because people are going to remember your story much longer than any pie chart. So the storytelling that we infuse into the pitches actually make the data slides when they come up even more interesting. So I work with clients all day, as I was saying. So it's not just entrepreneurs, but it's also senior execs. I work with corporate teams, Fortune 100 teams, teaching them the elements and the science, really, of storytelling and what we're doing to the listener's mind. So I always say a story really is a mind movie. And how do we create those images in your head so that you're emotionally pulled in? Because people biologically, which is the left brain data, but they buy emotionally too. So that's where I come in.
So
Yeah,
great.
probably more importantly too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's where the real root connections come in at that emotional level.
And it's been interesting because when I've been working with, so I tapped Nick on the shoulder in January of 2020. And I had just seen the first Founders live show at the Hard Rock Cafe. And I was seeing a lot of, 99-second pitches going and quite a few problem solution slides were going. And I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, "Hey, hi, I'm Melissa. I'm a pitch coach." And Nick's like, "Give me your card right now." And I gave him my card and it's true. And my first show was in February. And we had our first show. Only one person missed their 99-second time. And really, they didn't come to the second session with me. So when he ran out of time, he looks right at me and he goes, "Oh my God, that was really fast." Yeah. And everyone since that time has made their time, and every single founder has had a story. And many of our founders have not only, even if they didn't win that show, they've taken their pitches and they've kept them going. And I have seen hundreds of thousands and even over the $1 million mark happening because of what we did with them for their storytelling.
Look, that is a true story, and look, one thing I've learned, not just historically but recently, is just luck. And when luck strikes you, you need to grab you need to grab it, right? And I think it was just an absolute luck for both of us. Lucky,
Mm-hmm.
a lucky minute, and I'm so happy that you were there and you tapped me on the shoulder and all that, which leads me to, because we don't have a lot of time here. So we're going to talk about the 3 biggest tips that you have for pitching. I know that there's many. You work with entrepreneurs all the time, but if you could maybe pull out 3 big kind of points and topics that you end up really coaching people on, and let's kind of pull those apart and really identify those. But let's go with that first one.
Yeah. Well, the first one is open with a story, hands down, not a graph. So your first impression is true even in a pitch. So they're looking at you, they're watching, they're seeing all your personality, and then you open with a graph. There's no emotional connection. So open with a story, and then I'll go to point 2, but definitely open with a story, because that's what they're going to understand. And your story just really needs to explain very quickly. And I'm talking 25 seconds.
Mhm.
25 seconds to explain the problem through either your founder story or your character. So that's tip one. Do you want me to go to tip two?
Well,
Do it.
let's stay there for a second.
Okay.
Do you have a story of a story? And a quick one,
Mm-hmm.
but like, and I get this all the time. Oh, what's your best pitch ever? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
what you can't. Who's your favorite child? It's hard to once you hear and see all these, it's actually hard to identify, ones. But is there one that jumps out that you
Yeah.
could share with us that you're like, you know what, that really worked?
Yeah, there's a few, quite honestly, but one of my favorites actually is Juan Medina from Lalo, and he has an app that he pitched, and it essentially is a storytelling app. It's an app for keeping memories alive for your family. So instead of having a bunch of photographs in a box, you actually have them in this app, and just your family and friends are using it. It's not like this public display. So if someone passes away, you have them alive and well with like videos and conversations and whatnot. I'm like, that's beautiful, Juan. How did you come up with this idea? And he goes, well, and I go, what is Lalo anyways? He goes, well, that was my dad's nickname. And I lost him when I was 24 years old. That was about 18 years ago. And I'm like, that's sad. I'm sorry. And I said, so what happened? And he's like, well, I was standing at his graveside and my wife asked me, tell me a story about Lalo. And I had nothing. And so I'm like, get that in your pitch. So we started his pitch with, I'm standing at my father's graveside. And when you think about that, that is an image that everyone can see, right? So immediately we had everyone in their minds at the graveside. So heartstrings are already pulling. And he said, my wife asked me, you know, can you tell me a story about Lalo? And I've got nothing. And I'm realizing 50 million people probably are feeling the same way. So we started weaving in very sneaky data into the story. Well, anyways, he didn't win that show. Doesn't matter. He took that's the one where he took it, made it a video, put it out on Twitter, and where he was getting absolutely doors shut on him. You're too early. You're too early, because he was doing all left brain data in his pitch. He adds the story, and within 10 days, he closed $210,000. And
Wow.
people were like, "It's your story, man. Like, that was my dad." And so that one was really, really great. I'm still working with him today.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. So let's go on to the second tip, second point that you got.
Okay, so you're formulating your story, and instead of a graph, we now know that that's not going to work as well. Pick your story. So there's two real main ones that I find. It could be your founder's story, or what I'd call your story fruition. So what is it that happened to you along your path that made you realize this problem that you now are getting up every single day to solve? Okay, so what was it? What personal things happened to you? That may be your opening story. And if it's not your opening story for your pitch, it is a story that you should still develop, because your staff will tell that story, because it's your founder's story. So that, or what is the character's plight? So what is the problem that you're solving? So have a character. If your target market is soccer moms, show a soccer mom. Let us understand the soccer mom's world, and then how are you coming in there and fixing whatever problem she has? So those are the two stories that I typically put into one of the founders' pitches.
Luis.
That's great. What's interesting about that is that you are able to get probably this helps not just make the listeners draw their own connections and follow along with something interesting, obviously more than a pie chart, but it also gets those founders out of their heads and into their hearts and like telling what they know. And that's just like, that becomes conversational instead of memorization, or instead of like something that comes off stiff. And like, it's I guess that's, in short, that's just gets them to be authentic.
Everyone loves to tell a story, really, and everyone loves to hear a story. So it definitely changes the vibe of your pitch, if you will. And it's much more like educational, entertaining to the investors when they're listening to it.
But then that's also where you come in too, with some skill and some feedback and some crafting, because some people tell stories and it's like listening to someone's dream, and it like, you don't know where it's going. It's like, That's the weirdest thing. Some people are great at telling stories, and some people need a little coaching.
Well, that leads me to Melissa. Is there an arc that you can describe real quick that is a storytelling arc that someone would maybe want to orient their mind around when they are crafting a pitch? And I know we're talking about 99-second pitches, right?
Yeah.
So these
Yeah,
aren't
that's true. That's a good context to remember here.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so a story is a moment of transformation. So the soccer mom goes, her life is this way, and then something happens, and usually you're the hero founder, you're coming in and you're swooping her up and you're saving the day. So at the beginning, she's maybe miserable, and at the end of the story, she's happy. Okay, 30-second commercials do that all the time. Hemingway wrote a story that was only 6 words: baby shoes, for sale, never used. Everyone's writing their story right after that. That story kills me. I'm always like, because they didn't need those extra pair of shoes. but you just be concise. And that's another part of the work that I do, because I understand that, we haven't been taught. We've been taught how to write a story, analyze a story, but to tell a story, totally different set of muscles. And I am a storyteller. So I go out on stages, I walk my talk, I'm out on the Moth, I'm doing podcasts, I'm telling stories all the time. And so I just realized, this art stuff that I'm doing actually can move into the boardroom. And so I actually teach the elements. That's part of my courses.
Oh, got it. Nice.
They're lucky to have you.
It's beautiful. All right, Melissa, that was 2. So the third one, I have a sense that this is quite important.
Yes. The third one, founders, your slides. So you have to think about the format of your pitch. So this is a fast pitch, okay? And this is where I see most of the founders derail the attention and make the audience get confused, is that you're trying to put too much into one slide. If you look at any of the shows that we're doing up in Seattle, you'll see, you can see us on YouTube, past shows, you're going to see that we do single images, very few words. When you put a slide up and you're asking us to read, what else are you asking us to do? You're asking us to stop listening to you, because now we're reading the slide and some of us are trying to read it faster than what you're saying, or you're saying something that the slide doesn't say. And unfortunately, we're not that bright sometimes, or we're smarter than you. And your slides need to just really be supporting you so that we're listening to you and not getting usurped by all the data that you have on there. So the data you choose is the most relevant data for this next 99 seconds. It's not everything you've learned along the way of your journey. That's what an appendix is for.
Editing matters. It really does.
Editing matters through your words, and even more so your images, because if, like I said, if they're too crowded, and so I guess people out there, they're probably all going, oh my gosh, slide 5, what are we going to do? Just remember, so there's always another chance to redo your slides. Just try to keep them simple and having them back up what you're saying.
Sounds like there's a little bit of preparation needed here. You can't just wing it if you want to be super successful, unless you're just amazingly gifted, huh?
I would never, no, yeah, I would definitely prepare. That's the other part, is rehearse. Your slides
Bonus
also.
Tip number 4.
Yeah, tip number 4, rehearse, and honestly, know your slides. Look at them as cue cards. It's like you practice it so enough, you're only going to have time for like 6 slides. You got your cover and your contact, and then you've probably got your problem, your solution, your go-to-market, your team slide. You got to have those. That's 6 slides. So just know what you're saying on each slide. And if you rehearse, you'll know what you're saying on each slide. If you don't rehearse, you're going to be like, ugh, and you're crutching too much to your script. I'm not a big script writer.
Yeah, on that, we can tell when someone has literally memorized every single word in the robotic. So not to confuse everyone here, but there is a happy medium of rehearsal and know your words and know your points. But robotic is not the way to go either, right?
No, it's not. And now that we're going more live, you have less crutching that you can do. When we were virtual, you could kind of tell when people were reading a little bit. But when you rehearse, it also gets underneath you, and your confidence goes up. You're like, I got this. I know exactly what I'm going to say, and I know what I'm not going to have to say. So rehearsal is your best friend. And we have so many ways to videotape ourselves, to watch us and give critique. But that's also where a third party comes in too. You know, it's like, I'm not in the weeds with you as much. Oh, look at that. There's me.
Oh, look at that. Look at that, everyone. We're popping her website on here. And this is the beauty of the show, is we're going to be checking out even the presenters who are going to pitch up in the next hour. We're going to check out their stuff. But we wanted to share, so storyfruition.com here. And there she is. We can see her. Melissa, I know what's going on here. You're as an executive presentation coach and a leader. We're starting to really build this out. I can see it, love it. So walk us through, if a team or a founder is interested in, they go to your website, they want to work with you. What would you suggest, or what is there some options here in terms of working with you?
Absolutely. I would love to talk to you first. Let's find out what you've got in front of you. What is your goal? What are you trying to raise? What kind of presentations are you having? Oh, those two right there. So the one on the right there, she's raised 1.3 million, and she said it all started at Founders Live.
Yeah.
And she had no stories, and we threw a story in that she told me, and that's Pradnya. And then you can see the gentleman on the left.
Quotes for our own website. I think we got to borrow some of that.
Yeah. And then Tom, he raised 35 million. And I inserted 3 stories into his presentation to Andreessen Horowitz. So this is serious stuff, you guys. Story selling. But if you want to talk to me, I'd love to talk to you. You can go to www.storytellwithmelissa.com. And that's going to bring you to a little form real quick. Just gives me some idea of what you're doing, your vertical that you're serving. And then you can get onto my calendar for a complimentary half hour, and we'll talk and see if there's ways that we should be engaging.
Awesome. We dropped that in the comments for everyone. You should see that link. But if you go to the website, you see that you'll be able to reach out to Melissa. There's definitely options here. You can get her. Look at all that. There's so much going on here. So exciting. Let's see. Is there, Melissa, we're almost done with this segment here, but any other, anything else on your mind, or what are you excited about? Anything? I want to give you a little open window here to chat.
Yeah, I'm excited about a lot of stuff. So actually on May 4th, if people are interested, you can come into my website, sign up for the newsletter. I'm going to be doing a half-day story selling, elevating your brand seminar with Bridget Birch Cook, who is a ghostwriter. And so some of you out there may have a book that you want to do. I'm going to be showing you how to tell stories more captivatingly. Kane Minkus, who has driven, oh my gosh, millions and millions and millions of founders around the world and money. He'll be a part of it. Nick, you're going to be on the panel. We've got all sorts of great guests that day. So that's on May 4th. If you can join us, that'd be really, really cool. So just, there's my newsletter. But storytelling is an amazing business skill. And I love when I'm working with all levels of companies, helping them get how to do it better.
Awesome. Luis, last thoughts here.
I always just kind of think of the most random things. I was wondering if you ever had to fight anybody who was determined to do something that you really didn't recommend, or if you thought they were doing something and then they did it totally differently on stage, and how often are you left shaking your head?
Thank you. Well, for Founders Live, I only had one in the last 2 years that I've been working with you all. Wow. That he just didn't trust. Yeah. He changed it every single time. And at that point, it is your company. It is your message. I'm here just to be that Sherpa on the side providing feedback. But at the end of the day, it is your company. Yes, I do know how to do these 99s pretty well. And you can take it or leave it. I'm not going to force anything on anybody.
Yeah.
Well, it's working. And you've earned the trust of people, and clearly you've got the results. So I think you're onto something here.
Thank you. And thank you, Founders Live, because we have a great thing going here, Nick. I mean, every month, I just like when I get the woohoos, you've just been invited to Founders Live emails, and I'm getting introduced to the founders for Seattle. Yeah. I just smile because I can't wait to hear what the next idea is. Like last week's winner was so phenomenal. SmartFin in Seattle blew us away,
Yeah,
and it was
that
just
was
like, God, I love entrepreneurs.
they had it all together too. Yeah, and you know what's funny? Everybody's attention is riveted at that stage, and the story that's going on there, and that just they're on the edge of their seat as they're unraveling what they're going to reveal to us with this product. But if you turn around and look at the back of the room, Melissa's job isn't over. She's back there holding up fingers, being like 10 seconds left and giving the countdown so that they actually come to a nice graceful landing at the end instead of just getting cut off by the timer. So yeah, you're full service, Melissa.
It was nicer than the hook that we were pulling on them.
Yeah, that works better.
Yeah, so good. All right. Well, yeah, I just want to thank you and for everyone. Again, it's storyfruition.com. You'll see it right there. Reach out, get in touch with Melissa. She's forever changed Seattle in, for our pitching companies, but also your lessons are reaching around the world, because I know that others are engaging in our preparation tools that have some of your information in there. So really,
and Melissa, you can coach remotely too, right?
Say again?
You can coach remotely too, right?
I coach remotely a lot, but companies are flying me out, and I have people in Australia, and the South Korean government hired me, and I worked with a whole bunch of companies there. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I've been doing. So thank you, Founders Live, because it has
Melissa to add a 0 here to the rate.
Yes.
Okay. Well, and
but good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
And Melissa, you're going to stick around with us because we have our next segment, which we're really excited about. And this is a new segment that, with this new show, this is a fun segment that we're actually previewing who is going to be pitching here coming up live in Dallas, Texas. And this is our opportunity to get a little preview and then review. We're going to jump to their websites and really get their message review and just get an understanding. We're sharing with you all that are watching a bit of who's going to be pitching, a bit of a preview here, and give you a chance to think about it, maybe even make a prediction of who you think might deliver tonight and be the winner of the event. So you all ready? You ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right.
I'm so excited for everyone. I just love this show. Okay.
Good. So,
hey, Nick, by the way, little disclaimer here. So Nick has done the prep doc and has gotten, has got all the tabs ready to go for our preview. I'm taking the approach of I'm the audience here in that I haven't seen these guys yet. So I want to go on first impressions. I want to go on without knowing any of the background detail that you've had to sift through to make this thing. So so we have two different kinds of points of view here, and then we've got Melissa too as our third guest judge.
Well, it's interesting because in the Seattle show, I'm the only one that knows the content. I am the only one. Like the host, Nick, no one knows what the stories are going to be said. So this is my first time not knowing. So this will be great.
Awesome. Well, what we're going to do is so what will happen is we're going to showcase the startup. We're going to do a bit of a short description, and then we'll flip into their website and we will review things and really just kind of go from there. So our first one is Owl, and we are going to learn about Bright Owl. Their mission at Bright Owl is simple: to empower our students to achieve their academic goals by focusing on our students' learning styles and establishing healthy communication. We work with students to build confidence and discover their potential. All right, so we are now going to take a look at Owl. So let's move off there, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We're going to actually jump to their website, so I apologize for a bit of delay here. But here we go with Owl. And so first impression, everyone, this is a possibly not as much as a responsive website as could be, but this is their website. And this is great because we get just this fresh view. All right. So we're going to review. First of all, I would like Melissa as I described what you heard from Bright Owl, what comes to mind just from their description?
Well, I can't see completely all of their ads. So I love their logo. I think their logo is really fabulous. Um, they've got a lot of images on their site. Okay, so 1-to-1 K to 12 academic tutoring. Okay, it's pretty clean. I mean, it's easy to navigate. So that's the first thing I do when I'm looking at a website. It's just like, let me see very quickly what you do and be able to move through it and get to what I want fast.
So one
Yeah.
thing I would note here, and we're not sitting here picking apart all the websites, but this first impressions really are important. It doesn't seem like it's as responsive of a site, which meaning depending on the size of the window, are things aligning correctly? And Luis, I know that you kind of have thoughts on that, but just because the window is not full screen for my device here, and we're kind of seeing some things cut off. But Luis, do you have thoughts on just their vision? They're connecting college students with basically with one-on-one tutoring. This is needed, very much needed.
It's I'm a little bit still unsure of what it's all about. It sounds like they need courses to learn how to cope with their courses. So it's there's a bit of a I'm still curious as to what's going on here. Oh, thanks for going wider with that. Yeah, it's good to know that students have a an ally in their corner with with what's such an unclear path when you go into college, and that whole thing. It's like you have no idea what to expect. And guidance counselors in high school are only have a fraction amount of time available. So yeah, if this seems like an interesting product. I'm curious to see how they position it. It's probably going if they're smart, they're probably going to be talking to parents versus students as the customer. And yeah, I would love to see what the story is here because I see right now it's very product focused. So I'm not seeing a lot of like what the how they're going to attack that from a storytelling point of view. Yeah, that's
Right.
just super first impression.
And everyone, this is why, we do previews, and then this is why you stick around and you get to hear the pitch. And obviously the
Yeah,
refined pitch, it's going to be much more clear.
it's
But
cool to see how they connect the dots. Like we're getting this setup of like, okay, yeah, here's the rough idea, and then hopefully they fill in all the color and hopefully connect dots, and then they light it all up for us
yeah,
so that it brings it home. But we'll see. Sometimes we've seen stuff where it's just like it doesn't. It's a complete disconnect. So
yeah.
yeah.
All right. So we're going to move on. And our second startup that we're going to take a look at is X Squared. So X Squared has they're developing the easy button for property repairs after an insurance claim.
Mm.
And very interesting on that. We are going to now check out X Squared, better claims experience for all. So X Squared makes software to enhance the experience of property owners, contractors, third-party professionals who manage property insurance claims. Not my industry, but I'm assuming it's difficult and pretty complex. So really interested. Melissa, quick thoughts.
Okay, so this is a topic that I could say this is replete with stories. There's lots and lots of stories, but the name of the company is X Squared, so it could be that we're going to see some left brain stuff. I'm going to see. I'm looking forward to it, but I look at that and I'm like, there are property owner stories, contractor stories. There's, I can't wait to see what they're going to choose.
Yeah,
Well,
super niche product, super niche market, expertise involved, B2B type of thing. This is for people who have very clear needs and this is somebody who's been through something, who has direct experience and knows how to solve it in an industry that is, generally a technical laggard. So ripe for innovation, right for just connecting things that people are like, well, where has this been? So yeah, that's
yeah, when you
if
look
they're
at
doing it right. Do we have anything else on the page, or is this just kind of like a lead gen here?
I think this is a lead gen kind of landing page that we have, or what they've got lined up right now.
Uh-huh.
But we make life better for contractors who work insurance claims and the property owners they serve.
Okay.
Look, again, not my industry, but I can just guess that it's probably a difficult industry. There's probably a lot of old school thinking here. There's probably a lot of paperwork. There's, when you talk about insurance claims, I'm sure there's years worth of maybe even legal issues that get in the way of some of these things getting completed or cleared out. So my guess is if they can, 10x or 100x the speed of the solution, it's probably a dang good business. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, I mean, when I'm hearing insurance claims, that sounds like a problem, right? Those are problems. So that means there's something emotional attached to it. So
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing how they're going to paint that to us to make it interesting, right? I
No.
mean, it's probably a drier area. And if you can come forward with a story that makes it really interesting. And remember, when you're in these pitches, you're not just talking to, an investor that specializes in this topic. Anyone can write a check for you. Anybody can write a check for you. And if they get it, there you go. You've just opened it up. So try to dumb it down, if you will, make it simple for everyone to understand that they're nodding their heads in 99 seconds and they understand and they're excited by your idea.
Love that you added that. And we had, Amelia's saying there, it's a nice, really great niche. And I agree. I totally
Mhm.
agree. Awesome.
We
All
need
right.
this.
We do. We do. All
And
right.
we
So
love
we
those
are,
comments. Thank you, Amelia, for jumping in the YouTube chat there. Whoever else has anything to say, please do. Get
yeah,
used to
thanks,
that too,
Amelia.
because during the show, we're going to be your questions come after the pitches, 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes ish, four-ish minutes of pitch of questions after each presenter. So get used to typing in there and get used to thinking about what you want to ask.
Awesome. All right. Our next startup that we're going to hear from is Glia Health. And Glia Health revolutionizes brain health by delivering AI modulated diagnostics to the palm of your hand. And everyone, here we go. Let's check out Glia Health. And we are, look at this, so interesting. So a little further information here is they're creating an app to diagnose common neuro health disorders. That raises my awareness right there. With our product, you can quickly and accurately take neuro exam whenever the needed rises. Melissa, what do you think?
So many stories. Oh my God. So right now it's very scientific sounding, and I'm not scientific. So this is, like, oh my goodness. So I'd be very interested again. Who are you going to highlight having a neuropsych? So what do you mean by that? What does that mean? Start there. What does that mean? What is a condition that you're helping? So you've got Insight, Neuro Diary, Neuro Quiz, Neuro Library. A lot of reading here.
Yeah, lots of text, and we're
Lot
also
of
kind of
text.
unclear on like who is this for doctors? Is it for patients? I see something here. A neuro diary allows patients to track their neurological events quickly and efficiently. So maybe this is something that should be consumer focused. Maybe it's a mix of things. Maybe it's something that they market to doctors, and then the doctors give these tools to patients. I don't know yet.
But many people have dealt with people who have, like, I'm just excited to hear how they're going to define this. What definitions? Because defining who your target audiences are also bring in the audience to go, oh God, I know someone just like that. This would be great for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, when you as soon as you enter the medical space, there's a lot of things about what you can say and what you can't say, in terms of making promises or forward-thinking statements, highly regulated. Plus, also, a degree of skepticism, healthy skepticism, in terms of a company's ability to deliver what they promise, because it's not a small thing to talk about. Your perception of your own brain health. So I would imagine that in the pitch, one of the most important things they have to do is establish credibility and be very straight upfront with trust signals, and that could be better reflected here on the website.
Well, I'm seeing technological gaps that plague our current healthcare system. I'm like, okay, what's that story? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're
that
all
sounds pretty
familiar with. We
serious
can all
there.
imagine many of those.
So interesting, and um, brain health diagnostics. Just even those three words really jump out to me as really some pretty edge stuff, right? Exciting. I think the brain, just brain health and the science around that and how we are measuring and observing these things over the next 10-20 years, we're going to see a lot. So I'm excited to hear their pitch. This is going to be a very interesting one. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So we have two more, and we're pretty much right on time here. So the next one that we are hearing from is Trainer. So interesting. Trainer is a marketplace where trainers can seamlessly build and scale their practice while helping athletes of all skill levels, and to access trainers across the globe. So let's check out Trainer. So interesting. Here we go, and they are right here, and we are going to pull that down. So I'm going to jump in for the first one. So my history here, this is actually near and dear to my heart. My first career, or years ago, was in the health and fitness and strength and conditioning industry, and was a personal trainer and worked with not only athletes but the general population. And I mean, geez, what, 10, 20, or 15, 20 years ago, we were talking about how, how can trainers continue to develop their practice and their client base, and really connect with and find their clients. So this is interesting. Says get paid to take your training virtual and help create legends one workout at a time. I'm very curious of how that happens. Is it delivered via video? Is it a direct video, kind of a one-to-one video conversation, or is that just like a library of videos that they are providing that client? What's the pricing model? So when you pay a trainer, when you actually work with a professional, and especially it's their time, so you're maybe spending, it could be $100 an hour for that session. What's the pricing model here based on the fact that it's digital? So those are my thoughts. Melissa.
Yeah, well, I think this is an industry that really had to pivot during COVID, and I used to be a gym rat. I used to go all the time, and now I am watching videos every morning with my dumbbells in my apartment. So I don't have to drive anywhere. It's great. So I think that remote working has become great, and now with computer and AI, it'll be very interesting to see how they customize to each person, because everyone's different. Like, I want to have lean muscle mass. But some people are like, I just want to lose 20 pounds and I want to feel better and sleep better. So there's a million different things that different customers will have out there. So I'm looking forward to how they're addressing that.
Awesome. Luis, what strikes you?
I'm struck by everything here. I think these guys have it down. On the other pages that you're showing me, I'm like, please scroll more, click on more things. Let's get through this, because I'm not getting enough of a message. All I need for this company is what I'm seeing right now. I get the whole thing. I get the value proposition. I see the relevance to market. I see vertical video with familiar TikTok style interface. I see an easy call to action on the App Store here. The header, personal training virtually anywhere, tells it all. I mean, the descriptor is also great, but it also brings in an inspirational phrase: help create legends. And that is, the words like that and phrases like that help lock in people because they identify with that. That's aspirational. I think that I'm expecting this person to have a great pitch because they seemingly have a really good product, and they've done their homework in terms of refining message and being very specific about what they do, and having potentially something cool. It's not even necessarily a unique product. There are a lot of products that aim to do this kind of thing. But if I see something like this and I hear this kind of message, in my own personal reaction, I don't need to go to too many other options. This is already top of the heap for me.
Yeah. So cool. Well, we're going to jump to our last one because we are getting to the end of this segment of the episode here. And our last one is Tangible Intelligence. And they actually have a uniquely named product. AutoExtract.ai automates tedious document information, that extraction process, by replacing manual document processing tasks with deep learning and AI agents that learn from the trained examples. So we're going to go ahead and hit their site here. Here we go. Let's learn about tangible intelligence and their product. So extract or autoextract.ai. This is what we got. And so we got a company that is named something, and then now we're looking at their main product here. Melissa, what jumps out?
I'm still absorbing. So perfect information from perfect information from your documents. There's some typos there with caps, but that's not telling me anything. Honestly, that's not telling me anything, but I am interested because we had Prodny's company, Advocat AI, who did something similar with documents and AI. She also landed 1.3 million. Well, she's probably at 2.3 now, but yeah.
It seems like that's what they're doing. So yeah, like this is great.
Goes beyond. Okay.
If you look at goes beyond optical character recognition to extract structured information from any document. So just kind of sounds like what Pradney was doing, and they're being successful at that, is really taking documentation and pulling out the intelligence and making that actionable. Really, really interesting.
Okay, converting all of your PDFs and scan documents into structured data and allowing you to focus on the things that make your business succeed.
They're going to have to have a very good demo on this because we've all worked with OCR. It's not perfect, and now we're going well beyond that. And we could use what they're promising. We know AI is somewhat early stage, so there's consumer skepticism here. Like Melissa pointed out, it's unclear immediately exactly what it is at the top of the page. You have to read a little more to get it. I'm thrown off by the. I know we're not just grading websites here, but when you start out with a diagram that kind of looks like or a little animation that, aside from the mobile phone, the graphics on that look kind of like Windows 92. It's a high degree of skepticism from me on their ability to deliver in 2022 on something advanced. But then again, it could just be highly technical, in which case the challenge of the pitch is to be relatable and emotional. Where do you connect with people on something like this? So we'll see if they can do it.
Yeah. Tech. I mean, I work with a lot of tech. I was in tech. I was in data, for 15, 20 years, and you have to simplify it. So let's just see what they do. Let's see how they're going to bring it forward.
Oh, yeah. So good. All right, everyone. Hey, that was just like the previews, right? That was so amazing. Now we get
so now we have to
popcorn just to see their story.
Yeah. So are we each going to go for our own favorites and like lift a card, or like how are we going to?
I'm not saying anything till I see the pitch.
Oh, okay.
Well, Melissa, if you want to, so this is a little segment of predict. So everyone,
this is predict.
Predict from what you think. Us reviewing that, I'll go first, and I will predict. And this is the prediction. Who do you think is going to win? And I'm going to go with trainer. So I'm going to go.
Basically looking at their website.
I'm going to go with trainer.
And if you're on YouTube, feel free to throw your prediction in the chat as well. We're going to evolve this segment. We're going to bring in an actual voting function here, and we're going to have make it interesting with a little something on the back end for participants or winners. But today we are doing just between the three of us and whoever wants to throw in from the comments.
Luis.
Yes.
Yours.
My what?
Your prediction.
You did not predict.
Oh, I said no. That's where I'm going too, with trainer.
Oh, sure. All right. So Luis is taking trainer as well. Melissa, what is your
this? Yeah, but this is hard because I want, because we're just looking at the website. So I do agree that Trainer's website was the easiest. Like you could see it, you could get it, it was done. The other competitors have very high tech, deep problem solving that they're doing. So again, my real prediction will be after we've seen these. I just want to be fair, but if I'm going to look at just website layout, yes, Trainer, congratulations, you got a sweep of the three of us saying nice, clean website.
Nice, clean website. And hey, everyone, that's maybe one of the takeaways for this show and this segment is presentation matters, and your website is a brief presentation. And we people have short attention spans. What are you getting across within 2 seconds, 5 seconds? And we're simply just making what we think based on what we just reviewed. Hey, it's a prediction. We're going to now hear from all the pitches, and we're going to actually jump right into the live Dallas event. We are going to go through a bit of a tech check. So I will say that we may need to do a little bit of audio tweaking with David there live in Dallas, Texas. But we're going to bring on that camera, and we are to see where we're at with them there in Texas. So let's see what happens here, everyone. We're going to bring this camera on, and we're going to unmute.
Got a little bit of a loop.
Mute back. All right. So that is not the exact one. We're going to bring this one on, and let's see if we. Okay, that's good audio.
That's a stunning picture of a plant and a desk.
Perfect. See, I'm already like, oh wow, where's our drink?
Yeah.
This is the networking part.
But this is good, guys. So what you're getting a look at here is the room at a place called Venture X in Plano, Texas, where they're holding this event. This is North Dallas.
It's nice.
Looks like they're getting ready. But Founders Live is best experienced in person, so we're getting a view of exactly what this experience looks like down there.
We are.
And yeah, it looks like he's getting those slides ready and the getting everything set up.
All right, so we're gonna, they're getting ready. The audio is the thing that we are really looking at, making sure that we're dialed in with the audio. We got some viewers here.
Hey, Ella.
Yeah,
Ella is with our Columbus. They just finished earlier. They started earlier than us, and they had their very first show today. Ella is one of the broadcast partners over there running the show. She is a StreamYard genius, a video professional. She's nice. A joy to interact with. And the city leader there is SJ, and he pulled it off. So now she's tuning in here. Good to see you, Ella.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna dial in this audio here.
Getting a little loop there.
Getting a little loop.
Guys, this is what we do with live TV. We are just jumping in, doing the dovetail between Seattle and the cloud, and on site in Dallas in a live location with mics and speakers. And so this is their second event after quite a bit of a layoff. Last month they did a really good one. They had a great group there, and came right back the very next month. It's pretty impressive when a city leader starts out and just gets going. We love to see that. So and a great crowd there in Dallas. There's David. Nope, that's not David. Is it David? Maybe. Hard to tell.
Right.
Yeah, that's David.
They're getting started there. Let's see if we can jump in with some good audio.
Hey, there he is. He's at the podium. He's talking on the mic.
On this table right here, and this table right here, this is part of what's something new with Founders Live on Founders Live Center Stage. For tonight, we're going to be coming to you, of course, right here in person from Dallas, Plano, Frisco, Texas, but also all across the world. So Founders Live center stage is broadcasting from, I think we're in the Pacific time zone over there, getting all set up. They're making sure that everybody online can watch us and watch our prop pitch companies tonight. Pretty cool. So if you pass by one of these, just make sure it waves, get your face right in the camera. All right. How many of you is it your first time to a Founders Live event? Oh, nice dance. How many of you have been to one before? Awesome. All right. So in case you don't know how this works,
I think
tonight
it's time
you're
to
here
grow
for
these
5
down.
different pitch companies.
Yep.
99 seconds to pitch,
There.
4 minutes of crowd Q&A from you guys, and then you guys vote on the winner. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing that we're going to have to work with. I need to find my one place where I can point at any point in the night. Maybe it's, and I can point any time of the night. Or at any point, just point over here, and get some crowd enthusiasm. Is it you guys? Yeah. You're on the chips. I need you down here. Is it you guys? Woo! Yeah. How about right in here? Yeah. Woo! What about up here in the front? Yeah. Okay, I think we might have a winner. All right. So what this is Founders Live, for those of you who are not familiar with it. It's an ultimate entrepreneurial experience and virtual pitch competition. We have a global and a local community. There's local events. There's all kinds of online platforms built in with community connections, videos, newsletters, all kinds of things like that. So make sure that you definitely enjoy tonight, but also get plugged into what Founders Live is really doing. We host monthly events all over the place. It's not just in Dallas. It's a global thing. So what started in Seattle is still expanding all around the world. Right now we're in 90 cities, 27 countries, over 100,000 fans, and over 100 events every single year. And we live really by 5 core values. We include everybody. You guys over here, you guys over there. We believe everybody has an equal opportunity to be successful. Picture this as you're talking around a campfire, storytelling. That's what Founders Live really is. You're talking to people who also want to start a business, also are interested in entrepreneurship, small business growth, so that's what we're all here for. We also do nice things for people without expecting a return. We want to open doors for people without expecting something in return. And honestly, that's what makes Dallas and our ecosystem here so amazing and so unlike other places, is because the people that you come across genuinely care about you, want to help you build community, and that's what it's all about. And also, have fun while you're doing it, like tonight, at our wine table over here. And the ones see, we are getting there. By the end of the night, you have no idea. Also, climate consciousness. Commits to operating global business in a climate conscious manner, including measuring and lessening our footprint wherever possible. Also, you're going to learn a little bit more at the end tonight whenever we're voting on our winner of Founders Live Insider. All kinds of awesome content, premium content, just for entrepreneurs, people that are focused on growing their business. Right now, it's only open for the first 500, so make sure you get on that. All right. Who's ever been to a VentureX location like this one before? Not many. So, I want to make sure there's some more information on the back table back there, and once we get to the point in tonight's show where we vote on the winner, you can also get a tour of this VentureX space if you're interested. If you have a small business, if you're looking for some office space, this is a fantastic place to do that. So make sure to head back there once we have our little brief intermission, and you get a quick tour. Also, tonight, all of that fantastic food and drink is sponsored by Lalo. Would you like to have a few minutes up there? Let's give it up.
Hard to say. I used to be a teacher, so I could talk to kids, but when it's adults, it's
We're just big kids.
Yeah. That's right. So, for those of you that have never heard of IUGO, we are, I'm going to pull out my cheat sheet because I get nervous. So we connect entrepreneurs and financial success. So the word IUGO, here's your lesson for the day, it's the word of the day. IUGO comes from the Latin word IUGO, which means to connect. So we're always trying to connect. For example, we take the cutting edge of technology and we connect you with personal service. We take our entrepreneurs and we connect them with financial success. So we're always trying to find ways to connect. So we have solutions like accounting, bookkeeping, business taxes, and CFO services. So if you need any help, check us out at iugo.com and discover how we make taxes and accounting ridiculously simple. iugo Accounting, where your business comes first. So good luck, everybody.
All right, you guys ready? Yeah! That's a lot better. Are you guys ready? Yeah! Okay, so tonight, this is our order of events. First up, we're going to have Square Dash, Tangible Intelligence, Trainer, Bright Owl, and Glia Health. So if you're pitching tonight, make sure that you know who you go after. And again, 99 seconds per founder, 4 minutes of crowd Q&A. You guys know the winner. All right, so let's get started. Up first is Square Dash.
All right, here we go. My name is Matt Frugier, and our product is Square Dash. I have been a roofing contractor for about 12 years. I've managed thousands of insurance claims, talked to hundreds of carriers, and nothing changes. They all suck, right? So our goal is to make the repair process after an insurance claim as easy as ordering from DoorDash, right? Give me a price, press a button, get it done. Now, working insurance claims is actually pretty hard. It's complex. There's a lot of moving pieces. It's high volume after a storm comes through, and it's expensive to operate because you have to do all the work and then wait months to get paid sometimes. So we're actually targeting roofing contractors. Sorry, I'm not doing that. We're actually targeting roofing contractors in a $23 billion U.S. market that presents a $200 million opportunity for us just in this niche market. We're building a unified platform of job management automation tools that allows them to automate a lot of the back end, as well as automated funding that allows them to turn their accounts receivable into $0 and get paid the same day that they finish the job. And we're doing this with our patent pending parsing algorithm. It allows you to turn analog documents from the insurance carrier into digital data objects that you can then use to automate all the workflow and then give us the data we need to make a decision on purchasing that receivable. So we are launching our MVP in June. It's coming right up around the corner. We're excited. We have an amazing team with deep expertise in roofing and claims, as well as software development. We're raising $650 on a safe note, and I appreciate your time and look forward to answering your questions.
All right. Since we have this mic up here, make sure if you ask a question, make sure to ask it loud so everybody can hear. All right, first question. Beth.
Hey, thanks for being here, Matt. That was awesome. Just for us who aren't very familiar with roofing contracting, maybe walk us through an example of what it looks like from the contractor's perspective in terms of submitting whatever, how they get funding, they get back, whatever that.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you. So insurance claims are paid out typically in 2 payments. You get a little bit of the money up front, typically 40 to 50% of the claim. We have to negotiate with the insurance company because inadvertently they're always underpaid or there's things missing. Then we get to actually go into production and build the job. We do all the work. Maybe we're there for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We submit all our documentation to the insurance carrier, and then they release a second check to the homeowner. So now we have to go meet up with the homeowner again, get on their schedule, collect the check, get it endorsed by the mortgage company. So we're solving all of that back-end administrative work, going back and forth with the insurance carrier, submitting their revisions, doing the invoicing. All of that is solved by this front-end product. And then funding the receivables, the contractors can get paid the same day since we have visibility on the entire file through our parsing algorithm. And yeah, they can go on to the next job, we collect the money, and go on down the road.
Who is, I guess your customer is the roofer, the contractor?
Yeah.
How are you going to reach all of them? So there's a zillion of them.
Yeah.
How are you going to reach them? And
Yes.
are they, and they're a lot of them are low tech.
Sure.
I don't know. I want to hear how you're going to solve.
Yeah, actually, technology is creeping into the space, and a lot of roofers are embracing technology, and that's actually what sparked this pulling of the yarn and going down this road is frustration in my own business, trying to make technology work. But the community itself, the roofing community, is actually a small you know, we all go to the same trade shows, we all go to the same conferences, we go to the same trainings, we network together, we're all friends. I've been in the business for 12 years, so I know a ton of people, all the figureheads. So we actually have a go-to-market strategy pretty well mapped out.
How much does it cost the roofer?
So we're going to launch with a tiered approach based on how much claim volume you do, starting at $200 for the company. So there's no user fees to use this product. We have upsell packages coming down the road in our roadmap that will be a user fee-based model. So,
200 per month?
yeah, which is, I mean, you could spend $500 or $600 per person at your company trying to use all the software that we might
Quick question. How are you prioritizing which insurance companies that you're engaging or integrating in the back end?
So we don't actually integrate with insurance companies. When they issue the estimate or the scope of work, it's actually a PDF document that's given to the homeowner, and then that gets given to the contractor. Right now, the way it works is we have to recreate that document in the same software that they use, which costs $300 a user per month, and then make our revisions. So our parsing algorithm actually allows us to extract the data, the meaningful data out of that document, and leave all the stuff that doesn't matter behind, so that we can actually use that in our platform.
All the way to that.
Yeah, I'm curious if you compare 200 million.
Yeah, so we will be charging funding fees to buy these receivables. We'll buy the receivable at a discount, 3 to 5% discount, and then we'll collect that money through our app. We have payment rails in line for that, so the delta between that will be our margin. We can actually turn that money, if it takes 2 weeks or a month, we can turn that money, 24, 18, 10 times a year. So we can actually generate really nice returns while keeping it super cost effective for the contractor.
Time for one last quick one. Right.
This might be, a matter for a little further down the line, but are you considering utilizing like a credit facility for purchasing those receivables versus, your own capital?
Yes, we will be securing a credit facility because we plan on moving into other industries. We're using roofing as a test bed because we have deep domain expertise in it. But the possibilities are endless to use this technology to fund receivables in other industries that issue invoices with terms.
Last one.
Where are you located?
So we're actually located here in DFW. We have offices in Addison and in Fort Worth.
Give it up. All right. Up next, tangible intelligence.
Hi. So this is going to be kind of the other side of what you guys just saw, except for my name's also Matt. So in 2022, in America, we still spend $120 billion a year on paper forms, and that is just the cost of the paper. So Auto Extract AI turns documents into data. And the way that we do this is we use automated agents that are trained by example, and they convert these documents into structured data. They're easily consumable by systems like roofing contracting systems. So meet Hugo. Hugo is a claims specialist at a Fortune 50 insurance company. And on an average day, he spends about a quarter of his time transcribing information from police reports or medical records or legal documents into their claims processing system. For example, on a typical day, Hugo would have to scan through this document, find the information that is relevant. The document format is different for every single police department in the country, and pull this information out, type it in, just so automated algorithms can fire off whether a claim should be approved or denied. But today, because he has Auto Extract AI, Hugo uses our machine learning models to identify the relevant information in the document, convert each value into names, dates, addresses, and other important information, and then all Hugo has to do is just validate the results. That information is immediately available in his claims processing system, and it's also stored as structured data so that future analysis or other downstream applications can use the output. And the models that power Auto Extract AI are trained by watching Hugo work. Now, we know that the enterprise would pay for this because we've been selling it to them for about 2 months, or I'm sorry, 2 years. And my team are data scientists and engineers who have experience in both the enterprise and startups. We're gonna make a lot of money this year. And robots are not gonna take all your jobs, but they are gonna take all your paperwork. Not a lot of time to study. I'm sure you have lots of questions.
Right. Questions? Go for it.
You said that the results are validated by specialists, right? How many times does it actually say when the validation takes lifetime, right? So how accurate is it?
So imagine that you have a 12-page document and you're looking for a line item through there. So how much of your time is scanning through a document to find a result, and how much of it could be like an algorithm tells you on page 11, line 47, is this the answer? I mean, that saves you a tremendous amount of time. We also allow for hybrid workflows where partially it's machine extracted, and maybe you want to extract an entire invoice, including each and every line item and each and every value, but what you really care about is the total. So you might only validate the total on the invoice because that's the one that's attached to a check, but all of that metadata is available as an electronic record instantaneously.
So in the end, your algorithm is smart enough to recognize questions, right? Things that need second look at instead of.
So of course, each extraction has a confidence level, and because this is a no-code AI platform, the information is extracted in real time, and you're able to measure how often it's correct or incorrect, but the user gets to decide which things they want to have audited at what level. So for example, an insurance company might process 20,000 claims a day, and they may want to have an audit process where every single day, 100 of those claims are audited or 1,000 of those claims are audited, and they can essentially turn up the accuracy or turn it back down by sending more to the algorithm or more to humans in the loop.
Rick? Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, who's your competition?
So there's a lot of people in this space. It's actually growing really fast. For example, there's Scale AI. There's a lot of these AI no-code solutions that are trying to do everything. They're not necessarily specialized. There are companies like Impera and BrainSpace and such that are trying to create document extraction tools. But what we really do differently is we are not trying to replace people completely. We're trying to build an AI assistant that will augment your workflow. Because the high compliance use cases that we focus on require better than human level of accuracy, and nobody really trusts the models to just do it on their own. Yeah.
For those of us who might not be in the tech space, what do you mean by no-code AI solution?
So, like I said, these models learn by example. So you don't actually have to have any coding skills to do this. You log on, upload a document, or you forward an email with documents to the project, and then you teach the model by example. You say, this is the information I want you to extract, and then through several examples, we pre-train our models on huge volumes of documents, so they know a lot about documents in advance, but you're just basically giving it hints and feedback when it's wrong.
So, as a quick follow-up, you say you as in the employee of the insurance company is going to be participating in the training of these algorithms?
So our customers have done it in several different ways. Sometimes they have an offshore data team that they had maybe 100 people and they needed to scale up to 2,000 people. Well, instead, they were able to scale with 100 people. Sometimes the claims agent themselves might be the person that just gets the information and just validates it. Or maybe, like I said, maybe you want to process your entire Dropbox. And so the models will extract all the information, and you can just click to choose to validate certain pieces of information that need to be perfect for you. But all of the information is available in this structured table.
Time for one last one, all the way to the back.
Yeah. You said before you're around for 2 years, and so I guess when you have a finished product and you're selling, and so no funding is needed, this is your status right now.
Have you ever, 2 years is still pretty early in the life of a startup. We are fundraising. We've self-funded up until now because we were very profitable. So the first 2 years we operated as a custom software shop. And we had two big customers. One was a data privacy company, and the other one was MasterCard. We built this solution and sold it as custom, not this solution. We built a similar solution that was specific to their use case, and then we said this should be a product. So now, over the last 7 months, we've self-funded, and we have a product that we're selling right now. Can I get Matt's question? Because our products are so
I'm just curious if you plan on releasing this as an API integrated tool, or is this more enterprise level, custom, bespoke type?
No, it's absolutely an API. We definitely should talk, but I don't know, you may have already solved this problem, but we have an API that you can just pass your documents into, and it will solve the problem and return it. And we're a tech-first company. Our entire team are engineers and data scientists. We're learning the user interface and the on top of it, because our background is all APIs and machine learning. Thank you.
Up next is Trainer. Take a second.
All right, so first question. Who all, raise your hand if you were, as a youth, you were an athlete, you were in team sports. All right, look at all those balls. Okay, now if you still are as an adult, let those hands fly. Exactly. So statistically speaking, there's a pandemic on youth sports. 70%, more than 70% of youth athletes are leaving team sports before they ever get to high school. Now, this may not seem like that's big of a deal when you're talking about solving problems with no-code AI. But when you're talking about kids growing up with confidence to become adults who have confidence to run boards and to chair and CEO companies, this is very important. Statistically speaking, 95% of Fortune 500 CEOs all play youth sports, team sports. So there's a line that we see throughout the story of youth athletes: confidence, great grades, great connections to friends, families, they do better in life, right? Well, what is the problem that we're seeing? The problem is that youth are completely disengaging from sports because they're losing the fun. So what we did with Trainer is to create a dual platform where youth athletes are able to re-engage and recapture the fun in youth sports by being able to connect to their friends, compete against their friends while they're training.
All right, that's tough.
That's it.
Right on it, man. All right, questions?
How does Trainer work?
Thank you. So Trainer works two ways. So for the athlete, they come onto the platform. It's free for them to get on. They're able to access virtual training that's there by our network of trainers that have put their content on there for these athletes to be able to work out to. They can compete against their friends, specific workouts that they're doing specific to their sport. So this is not just one sport focus. We're looking at the top 25 NCAA sports that are out there. That includes rowing, guys.
Yeah!
So our target audience are trainers. That's going to be skills trainers, fitness trainers, and athletic trainers, as well as coaches. So for every trainer that comes onto the platform, they bring us anywhere from 25 to 35 athletes. For every coach that comes onto the platform, they're bringing us anywhere from 15 to 25 athletes.
So your customer base is not the same as your user base, because your users are the ones who are trying to do the content and video production, right?
Correct. Okay, so the complexity in how we run this platform is we make money three ways. One, trainers use our platform as a business solution, a business tool solution for them to do scheduling, booking, and billing, as well as capturing messaging between them and their clients. So that's one way we get a processing fee off of every transaction that they make to set up a session. Then we have subscription, where the trainer is paying $99 a month to be able to monetize their virtual content. Then we also charge $35 a month for the athlete when they want to go from the freemium model to the premium model, which is where you have AI that's working along with the trainer to be able to check their moves as they're training.
Jeremy, this is a very different pitch than what I saw in, I believe, August, Dallas.
I believe so.
So, since we're entrepreneurs, startup people, how did you go from there to where you are now? Because it's, I don't want to say it's very different, but it's very different.
It's pretty different. You don't know until you test it, right? So we were able to get Trainer Plus Pro, which is the platform for the trainers in the market. You need to know. We brought a product in the market that created a problem for them. They had an antiquated problem of how they were running their business, and we gave them just another tool to throw into the mix. So we took a step back, built business tools into the application, which then solved that problem for them to be able to have one space where they run their business. They're able to simplify the process when tax season comes around. They don't know because they've got money flying around everywhere. But now with one platform, they can do it here, and it's free for them to do it until they want to scale up their practice and go virtual. Yes, ma'am.
I'm still trying to figure out how does this help the kids. I mean, obviously you're monetizing on the trainers, but how does it keep the kids involved?
Absolutely. So the kids, everything for them is gamification and staying connected to their friends. Some who want to get better, they'll train without a lot of push from parents or prodding from the coach. But for them to be able to be in an environment where they already are on their mobile device, where they can simply set it down and they're doing what they're already doing with TikTok and with Instagram Reels, is that they're following their favorite trainers, they're doing the workouts that they're doing, and they're getting better. But here, they get a chance to capture that, and as they get older, scouts are able to access the work that they put in.
One last quick one right here.
Yeah, what's your status as far as users currently?
Currently, we don't have any athletes that are on the platform. We have a community of trainers of about 250 trainers and about 50 coaches here in the DFW area that we are nurturing that community before we open up the athlete side of things. And at that point, that's when the business really gets rolling.
Hey! Come on. All right, up next is Right Out.
Hi, thank you. Hi, my name is Sophia Balboa, and at Right Owl, following your passion is the only option. Today, Google, Apple, and so many other startups no longer require their employees to have a four-year college degree. In addition, the SAT and the ACT is becoming completely optional at so many universities, forcing admissions committees to actually look at more than just academics and look at what students' passions actually like. At Bright Owl, we provide two unique services. The first one is one-on-one academic tutoring, and the second is focused on passion project exploration, where students and tutors are paired to each other that have the same interests, like cryptocurrency, coding, and AI. At the moment, we know this is a very classically fragmented industry, so our two unique value propositions include our Passion Project Center, but then also our innovative parental engagement platforms. In addition to that, this is what one of our customers have to say about our service. Inviting students with confidence is exactly what we do. At the moment, one-on-one academic tutoring takes on a monthly subscription payment plan, and then for Passion Projects, it's hourly based. In addition, as of now, we have made over 13K in MRR since August, over 18K security funding, and 70 user platforms. Thank you so much for your time.
20 seconds ahead.
Okay, yes. How do you reach your target audience? Okay, so actually our target audience, you would think, are the 56.41 million students, but it's actually their parents. So what we've done at the moment is we first go to specific schools, and within those schools, what we've realized is that a lot of students go home with coupons or different types of like karate classes, brochures, and when they go home with all that in their folders. So what we've done is we've created relationships with the local Dallas school districts, and we give them a blanket subscription offering. So everybody in the district gets like a 10% off or gets 20% off. So that has attracted a lot of sales.
In addition to that, we surveyed our current 70 users and we found out where they spend the most time. So at the moment, they spend the most time on Facebook because they're parents, and not all parents are on TikTok or on Instagram. So the primary social media platform that we've been using is Facebook, and then we've also gotten 95% of our current customers through customer referrals. So it's a very word of mouth kind of business. Yeah.
All the way to the back.
Yeah.
So I'm currently a software engineer at a multinational bank, and I just graduated from UCB in December, right? I have been doing multiple jobs, and I just want to say that I think your idea is great. And I do have two caveats to the idea. First one being, I think in all the places there are serious bias when it comes to the interview process and the places that you have worked, right? And everyone being the algorithm questions that you were asked in the interview. Second being the projects, how in depth they are. Give us an example of what this looks like and how you combat the biases that you were interviewing.
Are you talking about the passion projects?
Yes.
Okay. So for passion projects, and just to go a step further, or step back rather, for all of our tutors, including the people who are doing our passion projects, they have to go through a 4-step process. So the first step is a mock interview with me and for one of our staff members. And we just kind of talk to them and see, what's your interest? Tell me a little bit about yourself. If they are tutors, if they are focused on like math, science, English, something like that, we make them take an assessment. Because we don't want to put someone in the field that doesn't know the topic. The third thing that we do is we do a mock tutoring session. So I'm a student, I'm going to be a student, you play the tutor, let's see how you play this out. I'm going to act confused, tell me how you act, tell me about, we want to see your patience level, we want to see your empathy level, etc. For passion projects in particular, that interview process is different. First, what we do is we need to have their resume on file, and we need to see at least 2 types of experience in that field. So if I'm going to have a software engineer as our software engineer passion project tutor, they either need to have a project they've done at school, and they also need to have a recommendation from a professor or an employer that shows that those skills actually exist, and that you're not just telling it to me. Yeah.
Specifically when you combat software engineer people, how do you compete with things like LeetCode that have already, conquered that community and trained them in the way they're using it?
So I actually don't think it's as much of a competition as much as there's something to learn from them. So I think what we're doing here is live tutoring for one part, and then the tutoring doesn't end when a student leaves the session. So what we do is the tutor does something called post-session text in 2-week updates. So they tell either the parent or the student, like, this is what we covered, this is what they're struggling with, this is homework for next time, and every 2 weeks we send a letter that says, hey, these are our plans going forward. 6 months pass, we do a reassessment to ensure progress is actually being made.
Get rid of the blue.
What's the age group of students that you target? Do you background check your?
Yeah, so currently our students are K through 12, and yes to the second question. Right now it is K through 12 our target audience, but I will say if they're lower than first grade, it's very hard to sustain their attention. So majority of the students are between 6 and 12.
Last one real quick.
Do you have background check?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's like 40 employees?
Yes. They're all working part-time.
They're all working part-time.
Yeah, they're all college.
I just wonder how you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Give it up. All right. Up next is Leah. So I was talking to another founder about a month ago, and he was telling me a story about how his family is very involved in soccer. And so his wife teaches 2 Little League soccer teams, and his daughter plays JV for high school. And he was telling me that his daughter had a game a couple weeks ago. She was right at the field. Her name was Amanda. She collided with another player on the opposing team, a defender named Jessica. Jessica hit the ground flat, back to the grass, eyes to the sky. Whistle goes out. Coach is running everywhere, making sure that, hey, is she okay? What's going on? Amanda took the hit like a champ. She stood there like, what's going on? As it turns out, the father was telling me that Jessica just had the wind knocked out of her, and his daughter, Amanda, was benched, had to go get an MRI, CT scan. Turns out she had a walking concussion. And he was telling me, man, I really wish we had your product that day on the soccer field because I would have known whether or not my daughter was severely injured or not. And he said it would save a lot of money, it would save a lot of time, and I would have known if she would have been okay. So I tell you that story to say, my company, Glia Health, is we're trying to modernize brand health diagnostics. We want to allow you to scan your brain at home, anytime, anywhere, accurately, so that way you know whether you need to go see a doctor or not. And I'll take my questions now. Thanks, guys.
So, besides concussions, what else can glia help tell me about my head and my brain?
Yeah, so we currently do our primary product is Insight, Neurosight, and it works for like stroke. Eventually, we want to add in epilepsy as well. But our platform is built on diagnosing what's called these cranial nerves. You've got 12 in your brain that govern the function, everything from shrugging your shoulders, raising low your eyebrows, smiling, frowning, and basically lifting the issues. Well, those cranial nerves and those functions that you perform behavior-wise have a direct correlate to your brain. And so whenever those nerves govern, we can diagnose.
Where'd you get your training data?
I trained it. There's some open source stuff that we're utilizing. Other ones are from universities. So I have a couple partnerships with UNT and UC Dallas. So
is it an algorithm, or is it sending a picture to a doctor?
Yeah, so we utilize an algorithm, so it's AI, computer vision. And what it does, it takes a video of your face, and using computer vision basically will map out these biomarkers that are in your face and your eyes, and then take that and run it against the healthy, unhealthy data set and say, you're good enough.
All the way to that.
So I just want to say I like the idea. I think it's great. I'm curious though, as he asked, an idea like this, the core strength is your training data, right?
Yeah.
What is the accuracy that's been done on that? What is the research that's been done on that? That is really the company brand, the initial training data.
Yeah, so we're launching an MVP in May. We're still doing the research development of the training data, so I'm not confident in telling you exactly like that level yet. But reach out to me in June. We'll have better answer for you.
That was my question.
So I see you reduce malpractice up there. Are you concerned about liability with misdiagnosing serious conditions?
No, so the primary mode of operating for what we're working with is we have the AI that screens you so whether or not you need to go get to see a doctor. And so basically, you'll get a result that tells you like yes, you're healthy, no, you're not. If you aren't, it's going to push you to our neuro section of the application, which then references you to a doctor neurologist to go get further testing. And so if you don't need it, we're going to save you money by that.
Kind of a two-part question. One, I'm assuming it works on like you take a picture of yourself or video of yourself when you're healthy, and then it compares to where you are when you're kind of suspecting a brain injury. I'm curious as to the second part of it is how does it compare to like the timing tests you take right now? Like when I was in college, I haven't had like 5 concussions. I played college football. But we would always, at the beginning of the season, they would give you a litany of like 12 questions, and they would time your answers and how you answered them. Is there something similar to that with this, as far as the diagnostics go on that, where you have a video where you're answering the test and it times how you answer, or is it strictly off of facial parameters?
It's strictly biomarkers, so we're using the most up-to-date, like relevant biological data to basically create that result. And so the average journal exam takes about 15 to 30 minutes. So if you call a big primary care doctor in the past year or so, typically we'll give you like a neuro exam. And basically it's one of the most best way I can describe it is if the doctor tells you to look at his fingers and draw from one side of the screen for your view to the other and back and forth. That's a cranial nerve exam, and so we're doing that but digitally. So the best way I can describe it is we're doing what digital mammography did for breast cancer and for mammograms, but we're doing it for brain health instead. So we're taking already existing practice and digitizing it.
So time for 2 more.
What's your target audience?
So we're looking at 3 different markets. We have sports teams for one, coaches, trainers, make sure they can protect the players. Number 2 is like hospital clinicians, doctors, nurses, and then lastly, EMT and paramedics. We feel like if they're able to perform these neurological exams faster and quicker, the time to treatment will be the window will be a lot smaller, which means better outcomes.
Time for one last quick one. Are you worried about FDA getting his diagnosis is a real tricky thing with FDA?
There's 2 routes we can go, and I'm still honestly conducting some research internally to figure which way I want to go. I have some consultants with FDA, so I'm not concerned about going to FDA if I have to. But depending on how I design the application with the screening test, I won't need regulatory FDA approval.
Sure.
One question because I don't know the answer. Mothers with infants, autism, can that be used, early on?
So right now there's nothing in my product that is going to detect autism in young children. However, there was a study done by Duke University, and they recently approved the concept where you could they had an 80% success rate diagnosing autism in young children by showing them a two-panel screen with half it, like right in the middle. First half showed shapes and geometries and stuff like that. The other half showed playground children playing, and the kids that looked all of the shapes were the ones that were autistic, and the ones that looked at the interpersonal relationships were normal. Give it up. Thank you guys so much. All right, let's take one more round of applause. Give it up for all of our fans. So now we're going to vote on the winner. The way that this is going to work, you'll see back here on this TV is the QR code. So all you do is walk up to this TV, take out your phone, don't take your photo. Act like you're going to take a photo, see the QR code pop up, and that's where you'll vote. You'll have all the different 5 there. And what we're going to do, we're going to take about a 10-minute break. You'll see a timer up here. Go get some more wine, keep networking, and we'll see you back in 10. That one doesn't. It's just like fuzzy.
All right, Melissa, we're going to pull off them, and we are going to talk about what we thought was such a great pitches. Everyone, this is our time. As you see and you heard, they are going to spend some time in voting. I've brought Melissa Reeves back on stage, and Melissa, what'd you think?
I just love Founders Live. I mean, sound was a little tricky, but I just love the passion that everyone's bringing. So, yay to everyone there. I think it was very interesting to look at the websites before we saw the pitches. You know, to see, you know, like what we were expecting and then what we got in the pitch. There were many times very different, extremely different.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I think it's I mean, that's the thing. This is the art and the science of this whole thing is that, you know, we can look at websites, we can judge a book by its cover, and then the founder gets on stage and the question is what did they do to prepare, right? And did they take the steps to, you know, did they work with anyone? Clearly with Founders Live, it's important to actually have someone like yourself as a coach to help them structure that pitch. So we learn a lot through watching the pitches, but it's so cool we're all peering in here from the cloud and watching remotely as this goes, but amazing stuff. What I think we should do, we have a few minutes and you can see there's actually a timer. So we got a little time.
That's perfect.
What did you like about each one? Maybe a point or two from each one. And let's start with, let's just gonna go through the list here. So let's start with tangible intelligence and what you thought, and we're just gonna walk through, it's probably not the order that they pitched, but
right.
Walk through and share your thoughts on what you saw as he took the stage.
Yeah. I thought Tangible Intelligence did a great job. Their site was really tech. I was like, I don't know what this is going to be. It appears to be something that's important in this industry. I didn't know what to expect. And he came on and he introduced us to Hugo. And he showed us the police report that he has to do and how it's manually handwritten and how long that takes. And he showed us the problem. He had amazing presence. So as a CEO, I felt like he was in charge. He was confident. He knew what he was doing. Slides were really simple. I would have had him either open or close if I was going to do the order, because I just really thought that he brought an A game for a 99-second.
Yeah, I felt that too. And you know, when you think back when we were looking at, you know, the previews, and it's kind of like, what do they do? And
yeah.
So, you know, just pleasantly surprised with the presentation. And I think this is a big business.
Yeah, he simplified it really nicely. I'd like to see his site maybe try to follow suit there. That might be nice to have that continuity. So good job, Tangible Intelligence.
Good job. All right. Moving on to Bright Owl. This was tutoring, and we looked at the site and we were able to see it's a one-on-one tutoring. What were your thoughts on that presentation? And look, you know, everyone, audio, we're still trying to dial this in, and the audio into a live in-person event sometimes can be a little difficult, but Melissa, what'd you take from the Bright Owl pitch?
Well, I think that she rehearsed. I think that she was really very like ready to go. She knew her slides. There was a couple of performance things I would probably just give some tips on. You don't need to turn around and look at the slides behind you because that's distracting and it turns your sound. So we were already having sound issues. So just know that we can see it behind you. You can see it in front of you, so you don't need to turn around. There was also some slides where the slides are real estate, you guys. And so the last slide, I think it just said, thank you. And that last slide should be, and here's my email and phone number. Like, this is how you get in touch with me. So every single founder, I think I could give that note to. The last slide, Dallas founders, make sure it's your contact information. But she was very together. Maybe slow down when you're getting answers because she's very energetic. And I love that. But just slow down so that we're not missing some of the things you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I thought that she had energy, and sometimes it can be a little too much. So, you know, my thought was like, yeah, breathe a little bit. There's a unique thing about stage presence, which sometimes, you know, slowing down, holding space, right, is a really key thing when you're presenting. So that was one thing I picked up on, but I'm curious. So, you know, her pitch actually and her slides were great in terms of she had a clear pricing model. So, you know, you kind of understood the business model, and she had some good data there. I thought that was great. Interested to see where it goes. I don't know that segment too much, but I'm hoping that they get some traction on that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to see a little more story. She's got $1 billion that she could pick from to show the problem a little bit more. But yeah, and again, you know what? They're live in front of an audience. You get nervous. That can definitely amplify the energy. So that's a really normal thing to have happen. But if you get that note, yeah, just take a deep breath. It can definitely help calm you if you are feeling nervous.
Take a deep breath. All right. Next one was Trainer Inc. What struck you with this pitch?
Well, it's interesting because when we were looking at the website, we're like, this is really clean. I feel like I already know it. And then he did his presentation, and it's really very complex, and it's very oriented to the athletes with the coaches. And it was not what I was expecting. It's bigger and deeper. So I was surprised. He did a poll at the beginning, and in a 99-second pitch, everybody, I don't recommend that because you don't have much time. And so to do a poll, he missed his time because probably he did a poll. It's not, to me, my favorite move in something like that. The audience just wants to watch. They don't want to be questioned, to be honest. They just want to see what you do. So I always would recommend to stay away from polling.
That's a really, really good point. You know, it's interesting because sometimes it is appropriate, you know, and maybe it's when there's not a time limit, you know, but when you think about a 99-second pitch, everyone, the clock's ticking the moment you open your mouth, and, you know, every second counts, from your intro to your hook to the data to how we're going to change the world. And, you know, by sitting here saying, who does this, you're losing 10, if not 15 seconds sometimes. So I think that was a great thought there.
My biggest pet peeve is when people say, shut your eyes for a moment. No. No, I will not shut my. Are you going to rob me?
Like, well, what are you going to do? Yeah, there's many ways. Look, I said this earlier. I do think that there's potential here. I did want more from the pitch. I'm very interested to see where they go with it. But yeah, just a few things to touch on and tighten up there. All right, we're going to move on because the clock is ticking there. So we're now Square Dash, which is X squared, Square Dash, and this was the property management and insurance. Yeah, what did you take from the pitch?
From the pitch, I found it to be very tell, don't show. So in storytelling, it's show, don't tell. It's like you show the problem through the story, and the slides are backing that up. I kind of talked about that at the beginning, and he told us, had graphs, addressable market. It was kind of the typical business pitch, which is used all the time. So it's not like it doesn't work. It does. But when he was answering, he told a story when he was answering. He's like, you know, it takes hours and hours. They're going back and forth. And he was showing us in his answer. And I'm like, friend, put that in the front of your deck. That would be great because you would show us how complicated and frustrating and hours of time that it sucks away and the money and the payments. He did that in the answer. I'd say bring that, put it in your pitch.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that there was some more to be desired, but I feel like on this one, I'm gonna step away from the pitch. You covered that. I actually think that this is also a potential big business. Whenever you're getting into property management, insurance, there's many zeros associated with that stuff. So good margins to be able to like pull from that. So I'm just kind of interested in further with where this goes as a business.
Yeah, you see
But
something.
yeah, let's real quick. We're gonna pull them back on because I think we got something going here.
Maybe one more glia. They're still just hanging.
Yeah, we'll keep them on, but we'll mute them. One more, Glia Health. What was your reaction on Glia Health before we get the results?
Yes, well, he was telling a story. He told a story. It just needed to be edited, and maybe just one. So I was kind of typing. I'm like, So when you're telling the story, pick one character or two. You had 3 or 4 going, and that's a lot for our tiny minds to absorb and follow. So just trim it, make it easier. But I like that you started a story. Would have loved to have seen more data about your business, your addressable market, revenue, SaaS model, all of that stuff that was not present.
Yeah. All right, hold on. We have a tight race here, everyone.
Yeah.
Tight race, and we'll see what he's when they announce the winner. But there was a tie. We now have a leader.
Can I say who I think?
One of the other fun parts about Founders Live is that everybody that pitches gets 5,000 in AWS credits. If you win Founders Live, you get 10,000 in AWS credits. For pitching, you get 3,000 people cloud startup. Okay. Before we announce our winner, we do have one other local entrepreneurial event coming up that I wanted to have a little bit of a highlight on. So we would come up and talk really quickly about another local entrepreneur event happening.
Great. Hey, some of y'all I've met already. My name's Paul Skillstead. Andrew Nauer is over here. We're with 1 Million Clubs Frisco. We are an entrepreneurial startup group. Next Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the morning, we will be having 2 presenters that were here last month. You have to come see us to see who they are. It's at the formation. Go to 1 Million Cups Frisco to sign up. It's at the formation at the Scar. Going forward, we want to see all of you presenters present at 1 Million Cups. We give you at least 6 minutes to present. Then we give you about another 20 minutes for Q&A. Okay, there's only 2 presenters per meeting.
Melissa,
and in addition to that, we generally have some
who do you think it is?
As well as
Who I think it is?
Yeah.
My vote's to tangible intelligence. I think he did a great job.
So, 1 Million Cups Frisco. They're all around the United
We'll
States.
see.
Yeah.
They present them virtually.
And I think he's got a huge market.
Make time to attend.
Yeah.
All right, let's listen in.
We're going to have you look this up real quick. It's very, very, speaking of AI, it's very technological, so I have Right, refreshing. One more time, refreshing.
That looks like Leo.
All right.
No, they didn't win.
So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to announce the winner, but before everybody leaves, make sure to let's get up here. Let's take one big photo with everybody that's here tonight. Make sure that we can see it so that everybody that's watching this online can see all of your beautiful faces out in the crowd. But tonight's winner is none other than. That's good. Keep that going. There we go. Glia Hal.
All right. He was a storyteller.
Yeah, you look at that. It was a story.
Yeah.
You know? Stories
Yeah.
Right here in the back.
knit people.
More than happy to show you around.
I would love to talk to them.
On good tracks, right back there. Yes, sir.
I've learned something. You have to be the last presenter.
That's all it was, man. It wasn't even
That was the last order. Got it. Order. All right, everybody go this way.
All
Group,
right.
group pick. We're not going to be able to make it. Oh, Melissa. So, all right, we're gonna silence them, and we're gonna close up our experience here. Wow, what an amazing experience we've had. I'm gonna move us up here up top there. We've got the cameras down below. Just it's a beauty, right? And hey, Founders Live, even if we're not in the room, we're here in the clouds. But we just had a Founders Live experience.
I know. That was cool. I'm a cumulus cloud.
We want to congratulate Glia Health for the win. Great job. As you heard here, stories do move people, and stories provide a way to understand a product and a business. Clearly, with we heard tonight from Melissa, it takes a story plus the data plus the visuals of the slides and the whole presentation. But so amazing. Melissa, closing thoughts as we finish up here with Founders Live Center Stage from Dallas, Texas.
Mm-hmm. I hope that everyone continues with their pitches. I hope that some of the notes and feedback that we were able to give can help you improve some of the things that we were giving kind and loving notes for, because I honestly think that every single idea that I saw tonight was fantastic. It was fantastic. And their passion was all there. And that's that. Now it's just, how do you clean it up so that you can really knock it out of the park when you're asking people for money? And I think that they have the capabilities of doing that. And if not, give me a call.
Yeah. And we have shared Melissa's website and company website, storyfruition.com. We have Melissa Reeves. Please reach out if you need help with your messaging and your pitch. This woman has impacted so many startups. So I thank you so much.
Thank you. How'd you feel, Nick? Was it fun?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Really amazing. This is really a 2-hour show, and the first hour flies by, and the second hour flies by. It's just, it's amazing. And for all of you watching, just to give a context here, as when we have Center Stage, this is a show that is clearly happening digitally, and then there's something happening in person, right? So when we're doing our pre-show, the preview, the guest conversations, that's when everyone there, as you saw, are hanging out, they're grabbing a drink and doing their thing. And then the show starts. And so, I feel like it's a fun 2 hours. Would I wish I was in person down there? Of course, but this is about the second best that we can have, and excited to have many, many more in front of many, many more people. So, yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if we could get like frequent flyer cloud miles for the as we travel the Founders Live world? We somehow got travel points so that we could go there in person. Anyways,
we're working on that. We're working on that. All right, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's it from Founders Live Center Stage from Dallas, Texas this week. Keep in mind, these happen pretty much every week now. So you can go to founderslive.com/center stage. You'll see the schedule, and we are from Indonesia to Mexico City is happening here. Mexico City, Guadalajara, Mexico, also Houston, Texas. But the next big one is going to be Washington, D.C. on April 27th. So we're really excited about that. So thank you all, and we will see you later.
See you.